Welcome to Movies and Mailboxes. There's a certain darkness to these places, the kind that pulls at you. It hums just beneath the surface. Where the trees press too close, where the air grows thick and the wind carries whispers you can't quite make out. Today, we're taking a road trip through the Howling from 1981, Joe Dante's film that weaves together the human and the monstrous in a way that makes you wonder if there's ever been much difference between the two. Dee Wallace plays Karen White, a news anchor who stumbles into something primal, something ancient. She thinks she's getting away from the chaos of city life. She thinks she's healing. We'll trace Karen's path, traveling through California to the very places where the lines between man and beast blur. The places are real, the shadows are too. Let's begin. Our journey starts in Hollywood, California, near the corner of Santa Monica Boulevard and Western Avenue. This is where Dee Wallace, Karen, waits in a phone booth, nervously glancing around, waiting for a call that will change everything. She's looking for Eddie Quist, the serial killer who's more shadow than man. These first steps are taken into a nightmare she'll never escape. The kind of nightmare that seeps into your skin and lingers in the spaces between breaths. It's all glass and concrete, this place. A suburban veneer that tries hard to look polished and safe. In the film, Karen enters a peep show booth to confront Eddie Quist, and what she sees changes her. It isn't just the horror of the act. There's something about the city itself, the way it hides things, the way it lets the ugliness fester just beneath the surface. You get that feeling when you drive these streets, quiet, empty, and waiting. From here, we drift to 6607 Hollywood Boulevard, where time blurs. Once, this was the Other Side bookstore, a set built for the Howling. Now it's just a gift shop, but in the film it was a portal. Terry and Chris meeting Walter, the occult shopkeeper. Looking for answers, looking for a way to make sense of Eddie Quist, the killer who was more than a man. A place built on fiction, but somehow the weight of it still lingers. You can feel it around you. LA does that, it wears the mask of daylight. But beneath it, something pulses. If you feel that pull, if you want to step closer to the edge, then head over to the Mystic Museum on Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank. Paranormal artifacts sit next to horror movie relics, all of it blurring the line between what's real and what we wish wasn't, as well as many amazing exhibits from your favorite horror films, a small piece of that darkness captured and held here. The place feels alive, like the city itself. It holds its secrets close, but they're there, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to notice. You just have to know where to look. From the city of Hollywood, California, we head north, towards the woods. A few miles west from Mendocino Woodlands is Russian Gulch State Park, a place where the ocean crashes against the cliffs and the forest swallows everything whole. This is the kind of place where you could lose yourself, where the fog rolls in so thick that the world outside disappears. It feels like a place where monsters could still hide, where the trees remember the blood that was spilled here, long before any of us arrived. In the heart of Russian Gulch, there's a beauty that doesn't feel quite right. The kind that settles into your bones, whispers something you can't quite hear. You walk the Fern Canyon Trail, an easy path, but the shadows, they move differently here. The ferns curl up around you like they know something you don't, secrets waiting to be found. There's a waterfall at the end of the trail. Its song isn't soothing, it's haunting. And nearby, the Russian Gulch Bridge stands over the waves, watching, as if it's seen things it'll never tell you. You stop and breathe, but the forest is watching. As the sun drops low, shadows stretch long, and suddenly it feels like you've stepped into a place that's been waiting for you all along. In the Howling, Karen discovers her world isn't what she thought. And out here in Russian Gulch, you realize it too. The land around you is wild, indifferent, eternal, and restless. Back on the road, we'll follow the 101 past the coast, past the places where the air still feels touched by civilization. It's when you reach Mendocino Woodlands camp that everything changes. The trees close in, the roads get narrower, and you can feel the weight of the forest pressing down on you. This is where Karen is sent to heal, to escape the horrors of the city. But this place isn't a refuge, it's something much darker. In the film, the Woodlands is the retreat where Karen comes to confront her trauma, only to discover that the people around her aren't what they seem. The turning point happens in Camp Number 2. The park, established in 1930, completed its construction of the cabins by 1943, and you can still rent them today, if you dare. In fact, the cabins look exactly as they did back when the movie was filmed. It's as if time stopped for this part of the world. Step inside and you can feel it. The sense that something is waiting in the corners, something just out of sight. In the Howling, the people around her are more beast than man. Here in the Mendocino Woodlands, it feels like the forest is alive, like every sound is watching you. Karen's nightmare begins in a place that was meant to be a sanctuary. Yours might too. There's something about this place that pulls at you. It's not just the film, it's the way the trees seem to hold you in. Stepping inside these woods feels different, heavier. It changes you standing there. You might start to wonder if something's hiding in the shadows, waiting for you to let your guard down. But here, in the real world, something else becomes clear. This isn't just about monsters. Mendocino Woodlands has become a place of transformation for many who come here. The same woods that hold these dark secrets also serve as a place of healing for those who visit. There's a connection between place and person, something that's harder to shake off than you'd think. Mendocino is also a symbol of what happens when we choose to care for a place, to preserve it. The park runs on renewable energy, and it stands as an example of what can happen when decisions are made to protect the land rather than exploit it. You can come here, stand among the trees, and see the impact of those choices firsthand. It's a reminder that the wild places, the ones that change us, are worth fighting for. A final howl. There's something about these places that gets under your skin. Maybe it's the way the light shifts, the way the woods seem alive. Or maybe it's the realization that, like in the Howling, the wildness we're so afraid of isn't something out there, it's something inside us all along. As you reach the end of this journey, there's a lingering question. Not the kind that can be answered with words, but the kind that echoes in the silence after the wind dies down. A question about what pulls you in, what keeps you coming back to places like this, where shadows cling to the edges, and the line between who you are and what you could become feels razor thin. If you felt that pull, if the wild places speak to you the way they speak to me, stay with us. Hit like on this video, and leave your mark in the comments below. And please subscribe if you want to keep traveling down roads where the darkness always waits just around the next bend, and self-discovery is your prize in the end. As you leave Mendocino, you'll feel it, the echo of something ancient. Maybe it's still watching you, or maybe it's something in you that's waking up, that's been waiting for its moment to emerge. As the movie reminds us, you can't tame what's meant to be wild. Thanks for watching, safe travels, and happy Halloween.